Why is it that we can cheer on everyone else in our life, but for some reason turn into our own harshest critic? What if I told you that your inner critic was not the truth? The things that she's saying to you is not the truth, but a collection of old wounds and fears. So let's change that. Hey there. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome back if you're already familiar with all of this. But as you know, on this channel, we talk about how in life it is not only me and it's not only you, but the ups and downs that we experience are universal. But as we go through some of the downs, we want to gain strength, we want to get wisdom, we want to have compassion on ourselves. And as we go through those joyous, exciting, amazing, wonderful times, we want to be present for that, to really embrace and feel the joy. So, today I want to talk about that inner critic, that inner voice. You know who she is. Let's dive in. That voice that you hear did not come from nowhere. That voice has grown with you all throughout your life. It has felt the pain you felt. It has felt the joy you felt. It has captured experiences. It has captured moments, pain, fear, love. And it's just trying to protect you. More than anything, that voice, that inner thought is often just trying to protect you. But we have to know when it's beneficial and when it's not. Many times, that inner voice has not been conditioned to speak to you in a way that motivates or encourages you to go for something because it's for survival. It's for survival. So the safer option sometimes is not the best option, but because of your experiences, because of the things you've witnessed, the things you've seen, the things you've felt, it's doing its best to guide you based upon all that you are and all that you've experienced. But it's important to note that because that helps you understand, why don't I just have that thought? Why don't I just have that fear? Why do I want to do this? Why do I feel like I should do that? When you can understand what is driving that voice for the most part. Now, of course, you can do, mindset work and your mind can begin to help you overcome fear, overcome preconceived thoughts, help you just, grow overall. But without that conditioning, our mind is where it is. Our thoughts are where they are. That voice is where it is because that's what's been put into it. So we just have the first thing that we want to do is we want to understand, where is my inner voice, my inner critic, where is it coming from? And why is it sometimes saying the things that it says? Why does it, why do I feel certain emotions? Just knowing the root of it can drastically help you. So that's just something to know for the first one. How to recognize that inner voice. And it's difficult. It is, because that inner voice sounds just like you. Regular old you. It sounds like you. So it makes it a little more difficult to decipher when it's, like maybe you're thinking, oh, is that wisdom inside of me? Is that my intuition? Um, so it's just important to just know how it sounds. I've heard someone say that sometimes their inner voice is a little rigid, a little stern, um, not so uplifting. And it varies. I mean, it's different for all of us. It's just tuning yourself to know how that voice sounds and why it sounds like that. And what is the voice that you want to listen to? What does that one sound like? And how can you distinguish the difference between the two? The work that we want to do to improve ourselves and to accomplish and reach things that we were not able to accomplish or reach before, it is not a light work. It's not a light work. It takes some effort. It does. It really does take some effort. It takes some retrospection. It takes some internal analysis. That sounds very technical, but it really just takes us checking in with ourselves. And when I hear something in a thought or whatever, how does it make me feel? Did that thought make me feel like that I couldn't do it? I could not do that. Or did that thought encourage me? Did I make a mistake and that thought keeps reminding me? Did I make a mistake and my thought or the voice that I hear encouraged me to try again, but maybe try something differently? Do I get a thought to get some advice? Does someone come to mind that, oh, you know what, that person, they do X, Y, and Z. I should reach out to them. Oh, that was a good idea. How is that thought supporting you? How is that voice supporting you or helping you? So recognizing that voice can really help you going forward, because now you know who's talking to you. Now you know, okay, I see what we're doing here. And you have a way to grow. You have a way to improve. But it takes you recognizing who's talking to actually make those steps to determine, is this something that I'm going to listen to? Did you know you don't have to believe her? You don't have to believe those thoughts. You don't. Just because a thought, or you hear a thought, or you hear words in your mind, in your head, does not mean that it's true. You get to choose what you believe and what you don't believe, especially about yourself. You get to choose that. Are you hearing that when you try this or when you try that, it doesn't work? You have a choice. Do you want to believe that or do you not want to believe that? You have a choice at that moment to make. It's subtle, and for that reason, sometimes you just accept it. You just accept what you heard in your head and you just take it as truth, as facts. When in fact it's not always. It's not always. Now, if you hear something and it's like, man, you really, people really like the food you cook. Okay, that might be something that you want to accept as fact or as truth. Assuming that you, of course, have something to substantiate that and that it just didn't come out of thin air. But that's something that you can make a decision. Like, do you want to believe that or do you not want to believe that? You might hear something else. People say you give good advice. Give good advice. And that's your choice. Do you want to believe that you give good advice or do you prefer to think, you know what? No, actually, I don't, don't give good advice. And then you might hear a voice that says, you are always messing up. No matter what happens. Somehow you just always mess stuff up. And you have a choice as well. Do you want to believe that voice? Can you really truly say everything that you've ever done didn't work out and it was messed up? Is that a fact? Or is it just in that moment, maybe a level of frustration or fear or whatever spoke and you heard it in your head and you have a choice. Do you want to believe that? Is that really true? Or do you want to dismiss that with, you know what, I did have a difficult whatever, or such and such didn't work out, but that's okay. I know that if it's really meant to be, then I just need to try a different way. And that's how you can combat that. Don't take it all as truth. Really analyze the whatever you're hearing and determine if it is in fact truth. And along those lines, what happens when you stop listening to that voice? Now, granted, assuming that that voice has not been tuned yet, and that voice is dealing with some hurt, assuming that's the case, that voice may be dealing with some hurt. So if that's the case, what do you think can happen if you stop listening to that voice? I think some good things can definitely happen if you stop listening to everything that that voice is telling you, assuming that it's not tuned for growth, assuming that that mindset has not been tuned for positivity, creativity, compassion, growth, ascension, peace. Yeah. You are not created to doubt yourself and to beat yourself up and to not have compassion nor forgive yourself. That's not what you were created for. That inner critic is a part of your story, but the magnitude in which that inner voice or that inner critic gets to affect your end, that is up to you. You get to decide how much of what you are hearing shapes who you are and shapes what you do and what you accomplish and what you don't accomplish, where you go and where you don't go. You get to decide the extent in which that voice shapes your everyday part of life. You get to decide that. Start listening to that voice that believes in you. And I will say, if you don't hear that at all, if you don't believe that voice is there, then start creating it. Start saying those things in your mind, in your head to yourself, because it's not going to happen on its own. That's the truth. It's not going to happen on its own. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do some journal prompts. Journal prompts are fitting for this. Let's do some journal prompts. Let's talk about the first journal prompt. What are some thoughts, words that your inner critic repeats? What does she say to you most often? And where do you think that comes from? You're the best person to answer that. So write down those things that you often hear most repeated in your head and try to identify where it comes from. And knowing those things that are most common and taking the time to assess at what point in your life do you feel like that could have fit? What experience could that have fit, and where could that, and that maybe can tell you where that came from. And this will help you be able to address it, to challenge it when it does come up. So that's the first one. And for the second prompt, if I spoke to myself like a person, family member, friend, whomever that I deeply love, what would I say differently to myself? What would you say differently to yourself? And with this one, it helps you reframe that speech. It helps you pull out the compassion, because you're talking to someone that you love dearly, someone that's important, delicate, precious, valuable. You're talking to you at the end of the day. That's really who you're talking to. But if you have to see yourself talking to someone that you deeply love and care for, how would you say, whatever it is that you said in number one, how would you say it to that person? So you can write that down in the prompt number 2. And I do want to say, if no one has told you today, you are doing a lot better, much better than you think. At this point, you're doing a lot better than you think. It takes a lot of strength to work on ourselves. So I commend you, and I am rooting for you, and I hope you're rooting for me too. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. So if you got anything out of today's video, if you enjoyed it, if it made you think about some things, if it made you smile, if it made you laugh, if it made you reflect, give it a thumbs up, please. Also, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those things. And thank you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I was recording on my camera and it said, look at this. Okay. So, all right. Well, it's good to have multiple devices.